What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday. We're going to start in a few. Let's get it.
It was my cross you bore, so I could live in the freedom you died for. And now my life is yours, and I will sing of your goodness forevermore. Worthy is your name, Jesus. You deserve the praise. Worthy is your name. Worthy is your name, Jesus.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Happy, blessed Tuesday. You already know it's your boy, Crazy Faith, the God in the building. Getting ready to drop some quick value for you guys today. Today's going to be a blessed and amazing day. Right? Today's topic is actually going to be release control, be patient, right? Release control, be patient, right? And, a little bit about me on that topic, being patient. I remember when I wasn't patient, right? When I was impatient, and what happens when you're impatient, right? You kind of like you're pretty much rushing yourself, and you're rushing other people, right? And in a sense, what happens is other people can feel that. People can feel that impatientness, like being the feeling of being rushed, right? And people don't like that, right? Because when people feel rushed, right, they get the impression that you're trying to control them, right? When people are when you're trying to be like impatient, right? When you're trying to be impatient, right? People can feel that, and they can feel that they're trying to be rushed, right? And then that's a sense of control, right? That's a sense of control, right? So you're trying to tell people, oh, go do this, go do that, right? But you're being impatient about it. They can feel all of that. They get the wrong signal, like you're just trying to control them, right? And it could come up in a wrong manner, right? It could give off the wrong vibration. So with me, with being a lot more patient, I'm actually able to be more aware of it. I can feel it, right? When I'm impatient, I can feel like this sense of control, like a demand on something, right? And it's okay to be demanding in certain situations, but not like all the time, kind of thing. So I'm being more aware of it and how to channel that impatientness, right? To be more humble, to give people an option, right? Not to, not to be controlling, but just to be more patient dealing with that person and get my point across without being too overly excited or or just like overly excited or just not being controlling, right? Not being controlling and just getting your point across, right? But not being controlling, being upfront, being real, and executing on that move, right? Um, I noticed that like people can feel like when you're impatient, they could feel all of that, and they feel like that you're rushing them, and then you're not going to get anything done like that, right? So the best way to do it is just give them an option, right? Whether it is whatever you want them to do or you need them to do, give them an option, like whatever it is, right? Give them an option and let them do it on their time, right? Don't put like a control where it needs to be done now, unless something really needs to be done now. You can say it in a properly manner, but don't be like do it like this, or have that, be more polite about it, right? On how we talk to people, right? Be more polite and give them that room, give them that option to do it. If things don't get done the way then you come back again and you approach them like but it's all about connections. It's all about talking. It's all about doing things in the right manner rather than living in control and trying to be impatient and thinking things will get done like that, because that's not how it gets done. It actually drives you deeper into not getting anything done, right? Because people are not gonna move for a person that's being impatient and controlling, right? People are less likely to move for someone who's being impatient, right, and controlling. So we got to keep that in mind, right? People will never do anything for you if you're controlling and if you're impatient. They'd rather do something for someone else who's patient and not controlling, right? Who's patient and not controlling. And that's how God rewards us. And if that's you and you feel like, you need to like work on that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having to work on yourself on these areas, including me, right? I have to work on certain areas that I know I need to work on to become a better version of myself and the person that God created me to be. Without these areas that's being pointed out to us, there's not going to be any growth into the person that God needs us to be. And without having the growth that God needs us to be, we can't get the blessings that God has for us. It's real. That's sheesh, right? And we got to be super mindful of not doing things in controlling mindset. Release control. Like I control me, right? I don't control what other people do, right? That's whatever they do. That's them, right? I can control me though. I can control my internal world. I can control that. I can't control what other people say. I can't control what other people do. I can't control how other people act. I can't control how other people think, right? I can't control other people's perceptions of me, right? But what I can do is control the perception of me. I can control the problems within, right? I can control my thinking. I can control my love, my peace. I can control my wisdom, right? I can control my communication. I can control all of these things, right? But what I can't do is control whatever happens on the external world. I can give advice. I can give valid. I can give advice. I can give value. I can give inspiration. I can give motivation. I can give wisdom, right? I can give all of that, but I can't control what other people do, right? And that's big. That's big. Once you release control, it's a freedom. If you feel like you're more in freedom, right? When you give people the option to help you out and do whatever you want, right, without demanding it or controlling them, right? You're able to. It's a sense of peace, and things work in your favor when you're moved like that. People are not gonna move. I'm telling you, people are not gonna move for someone. They're less likely to move for someone who's impatient and has a control problem, right? And I feel like that's the spirit of Satan, right? If you have a control problem, right? Because that control, like that's what Satan wants to do. He wants to control you, right? So if you have a control problem, right? He wants to control you. And impatience. If you're impatient, like who's rushing you, right? That's the spirit of, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel like the impatience and all that stuff is the spirit of like evils, like the evil unclean spirits, right? Like that doesn't align with God. So we got to make the adjustments to be more aligned, right? Whatever it is, we got to make more adjustments to be more aligned, including me too. I got to make a little bit more adjustments to be more aligned, right? And it's cool because it comes from wisdom. It comes from trials and tribulations. It comes from falling down, getting back up. It comes from learning from your mistakes, right? It comes from all of these things, right? And it's all good to make a mistake, but it's not okay to not learn from it. We have to learn from our mistakes in order to see the growth and the wisdom and to make the better choices moving forward, right? So I want to leave you guys with this, right? I want to leave you guys with this. If you guys don't start being patient and releasing control over every situation, every circumstances, then you know it's never gonna work for you. Like situations and the things that you want is gonna you're gonna be out of alignment, right? Because you have control and you're being impatient, right? God is God is always in control of Himself, right? Right? He's in control of Him. He's in control of the world, right? God is patient. God is super patient with us, right? So we need to cultivate patience with other people. God is super patient with us, so we need to cultivate patience with other people, right? And this is big because that's going to lead you to the next level. And without that, if you don't fix this impatientness, you will never get nowhere, and you will stay at that same level. So my advice is for you to, grow, evolve, and correct that area that you need to work on, right? And I just want to pray over you guys right now. God, I ask that you shine enlightenment on them to their impatientness, and to release the spirit of control. And that we know that the spirit of control and being impatient is like not of you, right? It's from a negative force. So let's leave that behind and let's just keep pushing forward with our dreams, goals, and aspirations, and learning from our mistakes, most importantly, and pushing forward to your kingdom and who you created us to be, not for who the world created us to be, right? For who you created us to be. Let's work on our being more patient so we can see the bigger blessings from you and actually be the person that you guys called us to be. So, God, with that being said, let's go. It's your boy Crazy Faith, the God on the way out. Let's grow and become 1% better. Let's get it. Let's go.